Good morning yesterday. You wake up and time has slipped away. And suddenly it's hard to find the memories you left behind. Do you remember? Do you remember the times of your life? Comic books and movies, how do you do it? It takes me back to a world gone away. Memories seem like yesterday. Yes, this channel, the Grot Warloff Inspirational Network, is all about memories. Memories of a better time. So here we don't move forward, we move backward. We're not progressives, we're regressives. Yes, so I'm going to be starting a new political party. You know, we've already started an army here on the Grot Warloff channel. Now we're going to be starting a political party. The regressives. The regressives. And we'll be running a candidate for president in 2024. If one of you would like to volunteer, that would be great. If not, it may have to be me. Because we're building backwards. Building backwards. Not building forward, not moving forward into the shitty future and horrible present. We're going to the past here on the amazing Grot Warloff show. So, if you want to join the regressives, subscribe down below, ring the bell and all that stupid shit. And, I have a haul, sort of. I went to a community town festival weekend before last. You may have seen some of the vintage cars and some of the music I recorded. Well, there was a lady there that runs a local open invitation only junk store, cool antique store in a corn crib out on, wonderful hill. Anyway, I bought, what did I get that day? Oh, I'll show you. I got this blow mold Halloween ghost. And, yeah, that's all I got from her. But she told me she had some comics that were mostly Archie comics, and so that interested me. And so she called me yesterday, Sunday, and I went out and saw her store and went through the comics. Yeah, this is the blow mold here that I got from her. I assume I'm pointing at it. But anyway, so she said she didn't know much about comics. I said, well, I'll look through them and kind of tell you what they are. And I said I may be interested in just buying the whole pile because I don't get many chances to get comics because there aren't many comic places around. And so I went there, and the comics were mostly really beat. I mean, really beat. They were well loved. There was an older Archie from the late 50s, completely water damaged to the point where the cover was almost all white. Most of it was 70s, but not with spine ticks, but actually spine tears, like tears into the book from the spine. Horrible damage. And so she was saying, yeah, I think I could get $3 to $5 for each book. And I'm thinking, well, these are probably 50-cent books. But she finally said, well, I'll take $1 for each book. And I'm realizing that's going to be real expensive because there's over 100 books. So I said, well, let me just pick out a few, and then I might be interested in some of these signs. And I got this sign here, this cheerleaders Miller Time 10 sign, and the comics I'm about to show you, and this other 10 sign. Let me show you this, all together for $65. This Faust beer. I don't know. Have you guys ever had Faust beer? I just thought it's a neat sign. So I got this sign, that cheerleader sign, and the comics I'm about to show you. And I don't know. You can tell me if I overpaid, but she's got this little mechanical Popeye on roller skates with the box. Box isn't in perfect shape, but I think she's going to sell that to me, and that would be a real highlight to put on the shelf. A real wonderful addition to the collection. I had an ADT guy out the other day installing cameras and security system. Not that we really need it because this town is completely crime-free, but while the guy was here, I happened to ask him, do you have any wire? Because I have 2 double-shaded 1950s lamps, and in the move, they were packed badly, and the wire, let me explain. These old fiberglass shades, there are these threads, kind of like shoelaces. See, and so he had some wire, and I was able to put the shades back together, but at least now they're working, and so I've got this shade back on and this shade on. So that was a wonderful thing. But when we were naming you have to put a name down in the computer for your house, So, I could just put Orloff household, but he suggested, put whatever you want, like Mansion of Madness, and I thought that was interesting. He came up with that. That's the name of a movie, and it's also an old friend of mine back in Dallas has a radio show on Friday nights called Mansion of Madness. I thought, wow, this guy's really clued in. But we didn't call it Mansion of Madness. My wife calls the house Frankensteina because the house is a mixture of so many different add-ons and styles. I mean, it was originally a Victorian house, but it's been so many things, a business for multiple businesses over the years and all kinds of other things like that. So anyway, yes, welcome back to the Garage Orloff Show. Okay, so what comics did I get from this lady? This is here's the back cover. Can you guess what this important key issue is? It's I was just having a great conversation on Instagram chat with the guy that runs the Arizona comic book store, Gotham City Comics, and I was all the books I was talking about last episode that I want to get, the reproduction that just came out of the Amazing Spider-Man Annual 1, the Tales of Suspense reproduction that just came out with the first Hawkeye, and the Detective Comics 27 repro that just came out. I have no access to comic stores here, at least not without driving a good distance, and so and the Erie Publications complete covers, he's going to trade me all of those for me doing a cover on one of those blank comic covers. It's like Garbage Pail Kids or something, so I'm going to paint a cover on there, and it's like I didn't even think about that people might be interested enough in my artwork that they might want to trade. I've got a bunch of paintings in the garage that I need to get rid of, and they're kind of monster-oriented paintings, but they were paintings that I did of an old girlfriend, and I need to get rid of them, and because, what am I going to do with pictures? So if I thought about repainting, like painting over them, but maybe, someone would want them, and it'd just be a girl on there, just like a generic girl for you, because you didn't ever know this person. So you might, maybe I should show them at the end of the episode if any of you are interested. I could, I'm because we don't have much money, but I'm all for trading services. Shit, I forgot that I have some painting skills. Anyway, this is a beat-up copy of The Flintstones and Pebbles, number 23. How about that? Very beat up. It's from Charlton Comics. Son of a bitch. Yeah. From the 1970s. Train now for a great career as a police officer or detective. How about that? Yes, indeed. All right. And if you could tell me, I'm sure somebody out there knows what these numbers mean. I've always been mystified by it. Okay, what else did I get? This little art sheet, number 146. When I get finished showing you these beat-up comics that I obtained, I'm going to show you some 1960s Thor comics. That is the goal. Depends on how long this camera holds out. Yeah, these are beat-up comics. This is little art sheet number 146. These are all just good reading copies, basically. This is interesting. I thought this was more interesting than some of the comics. This copy of Jack and Jill, Mr. Ed, TV's Talking Horse. It's from November of '62, 1 year before the United States was changed forever. That doesn't look phallic at all. But it's all intact, all the little things you could cut out if you were an idiot kid. Why is this up? This part's upside down. I guess that's probably a printing error that makes this worth thousands of dollars. November 1962. Yeah, this is... Shit, Drew. Drew is hungry, so she's starting to nip at me, man. So I guess I'll feed the dog. What the fuck was that? Yeah, there's songs in here you can sing, all kinds of crap. Look at that. That's disturbing. All right, Drew, you need food. We'll feed Drew the dog. Okay, Drew, first, some wet food. Yeah, I've been intending to do this show all day, but just got around to it. I'm listening to New York radio from 1975. WABC. No, it's actually September 9th, 1974. All right. Well, Graphic Man came and visited for a few days over the weekend. That was a lot of fun with his wife, and yeah, he was in the last episode. If you haven't seen that, you can go back and watch that. Here's the next month, a Merry Christmas issue. It's December 1962. So, yes, indeed. So, what? It's entertaining to me. This is right on my level. Here's illustrations from the readers. Jack and Jill. Here you can make a Santa Claus. Yeah. This is like something you'd read in a dentist's office, or your teacher would make you read if you had a pretty cool teacher, or your grandmother would send you a subscription to this. When you really wanted a subscription to Mad Magazine or something, you'd get a subscription to this. Here is a copy of Iron Man without a cover. Oh my gosh. It is number 17. 17, ladies and gentlemen. That month you could have also gotten this issue of S.H.I.E.L.D. and that Sergeant Fury. California Angel Forks. Drew is having fun eating her dinner. Yeah, so it's perfectly good reading copy. Unless you like to see the cover, it's not there. I found these interesting. worthless magazines, but they're nostalgia magazines for old people in nursing homes. Good old days. I shouldn't joke, I'm probably going to be in one pretty soon. But it's got old comic strips, reprinted, and old ads. Like we're nostalgic for the 1960s and shit, and the 50s. Well, not even though I wasn't alive in the 50s or the 70s, listening to old radio. This magazine came out in 1975 for people that were older, that were nostalgic about the early part of the 20th century, like the fabulous 40s after Pearl Harbor. Yeah, so about that. And this, lots of little stories to read. And this is, entertainment while they're changing your diaper. December 1975. Who put this out? Watch it be put out by Erie Publications. I can't read a fucking thing, but anyway. The magazine exists. Oh, look, hearing aids. You can tell the target market, it's not your favorite photo blown up. Imagine if you sent that picture from Vietnam where the guy's got the pistol to his head. You send it to them and they have to make a calendar. That wouldn't be funny. Just not funny at all. And they have some original little cartoons. How about that? So that's Good Old Days, December 75. Here's another copy of Good Old Days. Oh, it's got a subscription label. This was... This came from Maryville, Maryland. Maryville, Maryland. Dr. R.V. Cannon. So this was in a doctor's office. Yeah. Why wait another day when you can get thermolactyl underwear? Thermolactyl underwear will warm you up. Yes. And this is pretty fucking darn cool. Sorry, I don't mean to curse. Look at it. They have color comic strips in here. So I was actually more excited about these Good Old Days books that I'd never even heard of than these beat up comics. Yeah, man. All kinds of stuff. The Good Old Days. It still smells like an old person. Same doctor. All these came from the same source, obviously. We're in April of 75. That was December of 74. Yeah. Oh, that's pretty darn cool. Look at this ad. And this comic strip. Yeah, this is neat. There was a magazine that came out in the mid-70s. It was a revival of the magazine Liberty, and it was revived as a nostalgia magazine. Look at this. Boys' underwear. They almost look like the Beatles, don't they? It's the new British Invasion band. Yeah, Liberty came back, and I remember I got an issue that had Charles Schultz's. Have you ever heard Charlie Brown and Snoopy? It was on the cover. And it was all about the night, anything from the past, 50s, 40s, 30s. Liberty was like a legitimate magazine in the 30s. And I don't know when it went out of business, but they brought Liberty back and the title, because old people remembered that title, kind of like they brought Life back. And it was all nostalgia for people that were my dad's age. And I remember when I bought that magazine when I was in fourth grade, I remember my dad saying, I used to deliver Liberty, I used to deliver that to people's houses, Liberty or whatever the hell. So, So isn't that a fascinating story? Um, yeah, all kinds of nostalgia. Wow, cool stuff. Yeah, I mostly bought these instead of the comics that were trashed, man. I mean, there were a lot of Archies in the 70s. They were just not. They were not in condition enough that I could justify even paying $1 for them. And I don't have unlimited money at all right now. No, none of you do, or maybe some of you do. But right now, these are the times of Brandon. And January 76. January 76. That's about the time that Wonder Woman started on television. Or was it? Maybe that was the beginning. Maybe that was the end of 75. Yeah. Yeah. Did you? Probably some of you watched the first pilot episode of Linda Carter's Wonder Woman, like I did. Because most of you seem to be my age, according to the statistics I get from YouTube. Hearing aids, 50% off. All right. Here's a copy of Dead of Night that I don't have. It's trashed. They cut out a coupon. And the first thing I do is I want to know, what did they order? They ordered fishing gear. This fishing gear has to have been made out of shitty plastic. It couldn't have been anything good. 3 complete fishing outfits, $14.95. But anyway, the damage doesn't affect the story. Dead of Night was a Marvel horror comic in the 70s that reprinted 50s stuff. And so I had to get this just as a reading copy. This, you can see, this is what I'm talking about. Almost all the comics had, these aren't spine ticks, they're spine tears. They're tears into the comic that, because these comics were really loved by kids that did not give a shit about collector value. Anyway, it's an issue of Mighty Samson I didn't have from the 25-cent era, so therefore I purchased it. How about that? I didn't have this issue of Super Friends. I don't think I do. It even has a purple cover. And look at this full-page ad for Time Warp. Now, that was a great comic. Recently, Captain Strangelove showed his collection of Time Warp, which I think is 5 issues. I think at the time when they came out, I think I bought 2 or 3 of them. I have them, but I don't know why I didn't buy every issue of it. That's one of those mystifying things. Yeah, look at this ad. This would be a great poster, right? Indeed. The Super Friends, is just based on the Saturday morning cartoon, and it's a kid's version of Justice League, but it has artwork and these things by Ramona Fredone, that female artist that from Metamorpho and Aquaman. But anyway, I like her art style. She's one of those artists I like. So anyway, okay, here's Little Archie 149. And here's Josie and the Pussycats selling Hostess fruit pies. How about that? I'm recording these air checks off of YouTube, and it looks like I've got 2 minutes left to go on a 6-hour disc. So, did you enjoy Trump's rally the other night? It was hilarious. They showed the same town Biden had a rally And then 2 days later, Trump had a rally. Trump filled this giant indoor arena, and Biden was in a high school gymnasium with maybe 100 people. But yeah, it's something else. There's a Sergeant Rock annual from 1984. Again, it's just these books are in bad shape. But oh, look at that frozen guy. Some really morbid stuff when you think about it. Oh shit. Oh, okay. Okay, this is interesting. Usually Sergeant Rock is in the forefront, but here Sergeant Rock is in the distance, and or in the kind of looking like the. But they're German soldiers. Look at the ice coming down from his hand that's turning bluish purple. Really morbid stuff, man. I always love war comics, but yeah, war is it really is such a waste. But I've always loved history. Um, oh, for a while, I remember at Kmart there was a Kmart exclusive. See, they had these DC figures from Remco, trying to cash in on the He-Man craze. So they did Warlord, and then some other DC heroes that aren't as well remembered, like Iraq, or however you pronounce it. He was an Indian, a Native American. And Hercules, people have heard of him. And they had Demos, Makola, and Machiste. Anyway, the Warlord figure did not look like the Mike Grell drawing. He looked very silly and squat and deformed, like a Walmart shopper, or me perhaps. Okay, I saw this and I had to get it because this was one of the first comics I ever got as a little kid. It's in a disgusting bag. I don't know what kind of bag this is. Ugh. I have my childhood copy. I have one, I bought it in an antique mall that's in better shape. And now I have this one because I can leave no wacky witch behind. If I ever see a wacky witch or a Melvin the Monster or a Munsters comic or there's certain comics I have to get. And yeah, look at this fucking bag. It's fucking like beyond. I mean, these are comics that have been stuck they were in some old building like a fucking barn or something. You know, these weren't like, anyway. Yeah, this is beat even far beyond my childhood copy, but, you know, it's Wacky Witch. It's the first issue of Wacky Witch, and I was like telling this lady, it was one of the first things on the top of the pile, and I said, oh, that was one of the first comics I bought as a kid, this Wacky Witch. And there was another lady there, a customer, that says, oh, I have a Wacky Witch comic. So I guess other people have heard of Wacky Witch. Wacky Witch. We're in May 15th, 1976. Phil Gardner, WGAR in Cleveland. You gotta listen to these old radio air checks. They're a lot of fun. Anyway, remember this kind of stuff? I don't know if when you were real little, as a first grader, did you ever have a friend that was a girl and actually go to their house and see their bedroom, and it was all this kind of stuff in the early 70s. Little boys aren't supposed to have friends that are girls, but I remember I had a friend that was a girl, and I remember her that is what everything looked like. That's what I'm trying to make the guest bedroom of the house look kind of like a cool girl's bedroom from that time period. Sorry, I'm finalizing the disc. Sorry, you got to finalize the DVD-R when you're done. Anyway, this is Wacky Witch. How about that? You probably could give a shit. I didn't get many of these. I mean, this isn't fucking. I don't even know why I got this. It's so shitty. It's the comic is it's the condition, man. It's like a rag. What the fuck? Oh God, disgusting. And then I got this. The Flintstones featuring the Great Gazoo. And wow, a jewelry ad, so it must be a key issue. It's from the incredible Charlton Comics. I always thought that was weird. It's supposed to be a Planet of the Apes mask, but it looks like an ape that's 100 years old that needs dentures. These masks are always amazing. This ad is fucking incredible. It's a Johnson Smith company. Somewhere I have a Johnson Smith catalog, like an old one, because you know you could order those ads, let you order a catalog of all their junk shit. This is not Charles Atlas, but one of his rivals. So the ad almost looks like a Charles Atlas ad, but it is not. Okay, well that was the haul, and that was the best of what I've had much better hauls, but you know, you take what you can get, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be having fun reading those Good Old Days magazines and the Jack and Joel comics. Okay, yeah, wonderful. Hold on a second. So, how are you guys doing today? Wonderful? Yes. Let's get some music on. So anyway, your guys are doing good, huh? Wonderful. You're doing wonderfully, right? It's horrible. Every day I'm just watching the news in horror. But because something's gonna happen, they've set it up. Those bad, evil MAGA Republicans are gonna do something bad. So that means that they're gonna do something bad and then they're gonna, while wearing red caps, and they're gonna blame it on the MAGA Republicans, and I don't know how bad is bad. You know, so we're just wait. Like, when are they? Something bad's gonna happen. You know, between now and November, it's just how they roll. Oh well. Having said that, let's move forward by going forward. That being said, let's have a conversation about those extreme MAGA, ultra MAGA Republicans, the semi-fascists. They are problematic. I mean this sincerely. It's not hyperbole. They are an existential threat to our democracy, because they do not recognize my neo-pronouns when I'm chilling. They're problematic. Just saying. But it is what it is. Even though I'm triggered, these microaggressions going forward result in us having a conversation. Having said that, so yeah, I write all this shit down here so I can be cool and get more followers on YouTube. Okay, so Thor. Across the rainbow bridge of Asgard, where the booming heavens roar, you'll behold in breathless wonder the god of thunder, mighty Thor. I'm mighty Thor when people don't call me they, them. It makes me mighty Thor. They don't recognize my pronouns. They, them. Okay, that's the second box of Thor. Alakazam. Wala soto. Well, I'm up to 402 subscribers, but as soon as I say that, several people will unsubscribe. This was always the worst day of the year, man, Labor Day. Because it's now, in 2022, kids have been been at school for several weeks. But when I was a kid, school always started the day after Labor Day. So you'd have the damn Jerry Lewis telethon, and you'd be going out and buying school supplies and probably a metal lunchbox for whatever new TV show, Saturday morning cartoon, was maybe going to be a hit. And so you knew the next day, tomorrow, you would have to start school and go through that miserable experience with the teacher mispronouncing your name and people laughing and just the horror of it all. And the only thing you had to look forward to was in about a week, all the new season shows started. And that was exciting back in the 70s. All the ABC, CBS, NBC. And then the Saturday morning cartoons, the new cartoons would start. And who knows, it might be a piece of shit like Wonder Buggy or Jabberjaws, or it might be a real winner like Land of the Lost or something that would really stick with you for years. So that, you had that to look forward to. And then the Halloween decorations would start coming out to kind of help you. Now the Halloween stuff's already out. I mean, everything's rushed. How about that? Yes. Oh, today is Raquel Welch's birthday. She's 82. She was one of my childhood crushes. When I was in third grade, it's a group of about 4 or 5 friends I had. We would draw comic books on notebook paper. We had our own comic book company. We'd each produce certain titles, and we'd cross promote the comics, and we would have our characters appear in their comics and vice versa. But we would always talk on the playground. We all had crushes on the same 3 women: Raquel Welch, Anne Margaret, and Sharon Tate. And of course, Sharon Tate was no longer alive in 1973, 74 at this point. So we were upset with Charles Manson for that. I remember that. But Raquel Welch and Anne Margaret still kicking. Although I haven't heard anything. Have you heard anything about Anne Margaret? She's just like disappeared. She is still alive, isn't she? She's got to be. No, if she had died, that news would have gotten to me, and that would have been very problematic. It would have been problematic. I'd have to have a conversation about it. Oh, these morons. What am I doing? I don't even know what I'm doing. Oh, I know what I'm doing. So, how are you guys doing? You having a good time? Wonderful. I've got to have music playing while I look at Thor comics. How about the world of the Hammond organ? But I've got of course, I have commercials. Do any of you have the YouTube where you pay money to not have commercials? I don't pay for that. These are times of little bread, man. Boy, I tell you, that guy that runs, why don't I even know his name? Gotham City Comics is the owner of that store is incredible. And if you live in Arizona, you need to be going to that store. He's about to move to a new location, and that'll be amazing. Okay, Thor. Here's my first Thor is Journey into Mystery 98. Whew. 101. Do we have enough freaking light? might, let's see if we can move around. I think I waited, I was going to do this show earlier today, and I waited too long. And now it's, I don't think I have enough light. This might be better. Ah! There are people that just pay attention. They just believe everything they read, and they think that Donald Trump needs to be arrested immediately. I see these people on. There's a really great several artists that I really love that are very liberal, and I won't mention names, but their Facebook posts are just so. It's like they're on another planet. They don't. How do you watch that speech that Biden gave the other night with the red light and the Marines behind him, and think that that's an acceptable? No. Anyway, the light's better now, isn't it? 98. Looks like I'm missing 99 and 100. If you have extra copies of 99 or 100 of Journey into Mystery, I'll probably buy them from you, or maybe I'd trade paintings to you. I could paint something for you. That might be a way to do it. I continue to work on the house and getting it every day. There's a few steps forward into getting it organized and looking a little bit better. And eventually I'll have the garage cleared out. And then at that point, I could probably maybe start a store in the garage. Or I might just do it in this front porch that's enclosed with glass. This is 104. Now, this is what Thor is supposed to be like. These movies have gone so far afield from what they're supposed to be that, I liked Ragnarok, but I had no idea how much farther they would take it into ridiculousness with the next one. Now Taika Waititi says he's just quitting. He's not coming back because people didn't like the movie or something or other. This is 107. I could fill in holes in my Journey into Mystery collection at Duncanville Books when I used to live near Dallas, but I can't do that now. So maybe I can just do it through mycomicshop.com. That seems where all the cool people are going to buy books. Which was also, mycomicshop.com was based, I could have ridden a bike to that building where I used to live. It was real close to me. It wasn't a storefront. It wasn't open to the public. But mycomicshop.com is an outgrowth of Lone Star Comics that used to be my local comic book store. Notice I don't say LCS. I don't say PC instead of personal collection because people may not know those acronyms. So, besides PC, guys, sorry, it was already taken by personal computer, so I say the whole thing. I've never been a big person for acronyms and for text message speak. Here's 108. Doctor Strange. Guest starring the world's most mysterious mortal, Doctor Strange, master of black magic. But it was weird, I would buy Thor comics at Lone Star Comics in the late 70s, early 80s, and then I would when I discovered Duncanville Books, which was kind of a ways down the highway in Duncanville, which is not the best of towns. I mean, it's got a reputation for being a little rough. I mean, it's right next to Oak Cliff, which is where Lee Harvey Oswald lived, and even in 1963, Oak Cliff had a kind of bad reputation. But now they're trying to fix up Oak Cliff and make it kind of a hipster paradise. And the theater where Lee Harvey Oswald was hiding out is now a theater that plays some new movies, but also classic movies like the Real Planet of the Apes from '68, or was it '67? But anyway, real movies. Here's 113. The hell am I even talking about? Oh, but anyway, when I discovered Duncanville Books in the 80s, I was buying Thor comics from them, and then I forgot about Duncanville Books for probably 20 years or more, and when I went back to Duncanville Books, you know, it was still a comic store, but it had been expanded. And then because this is something I bought more recently. This is something I bought within the last year and a half, probably, this particular issue. And I just, trying to fill up my collection. That was 115. Here's 116, because I love these books. And they're more affordable than if you're trying to build up, the first 100 issues of Amazing Spider-Man. You got to have some money to do that. But with this, you fucking commercial. Ah, shit, fuck it. Kellogg's Raisin Bran, ladies and gentlemen, is official sponsor of the Gratu Orlov Show. Oh, I should show you some of Graphic Man's. God damn. I can't take this shit anymore. Damn it, you fucking. Shut up. Yeah, let me. I've shown you this before. It went for Marvel Comics Group with 116. By 119, it was Marvel Pop Art Productions. Because I guess Stan Lee thought he would cash in on the Andy Warhol, Liechtenstein craze. And it didn't last long. That's 120. But anyway, yeah. So yeah. Having said that, if I keep beating it into the ground, and then you're going to notice how often people do say that. You're going to hear it constantly, and then you're going to start laughing during business meetings when people say, having said that being said, people are going to look at you like you're crazy. It just never ends. Okay. The other thing to listen for, because it's being forced upon us in all the commercials and in every TV show. If you watch TV shows, it's the word "forward," the communist slogan. That because they're wanting to condition you to vote Democrat in the 2022 elections, and so you'll think forward, moving forward, progressive. Progress means moving forward. No, you want to move backwards to the 50s or to the 1960s when comics look like this, because they do not look like this. 48 hours from now, when you're in a comic book store with the new comics, they will not look like this, trust me. and that's 121. They certainly will not have the majesty of this. Look at this, issue 122, where mortals fear to tread. And these are the great stories that were adapted into that Marvel Superheroes cartoon in 1966. 123. Okay, so the corner box, which was an idea that Steve Ditko came up with, then the number and the month is over here. Then the month and the year come over under the corner box. See, you can just kind of tell the age of a Marvel comic, and as the 60s progress, it moves here. This is Hercules issue, obviously. This is an odd one, in that they have a sticker over the 12 cent that says 15 cents, and I don't know how to account for that, why that sticker is there, but I'm not going to remove it because it was probably put on there in, you know, the 60s. Okay, now the month and the issue number is to the side of the corner box, so it will not obscure the artwork. Just look at these magnificent covers. This is when Kirby was at his peak. The Hammer and the Holocaust. The word Holocaust, as we know it now, meaning exclusively the genocide in World War II, that meaning, I think, started in the late 70s with a mini-series on, I think, NBC called Holocaust. But before then, you see the word Holocaust thrown around all the time in comics. You would not see them putting the word Holocaust on a comic cover today, for sure. There's a purple cover. For sure, dude. The words change meaning, and then 128. This was a great time period. And then here's another 128. Just accidental repurchasing the same issue. Well, the last episode, it wouldn't go past like an hour because I crammed up my memory with so much shit on my phone. I was being able to go all the way to 2 hours, but I don't know. We'll have to see when the show just randomly ends with me in the middle of a sentence. You'll know that's as much as I can handle with my primitive iPhone. Here's 130. Look at that. Okay, the numbers are over here again. Okay. Here's 132. And now everything is together in the corner box, which is the standard way that we imagine the 60s Marvels, is having it all together with the price, the number, and the month underneath Marvel Comics Group. So now it has, I was just kind of showing you the evolution of how everything kind of came together, which matters to some of you. 129, 132, 130, 129, 130. I need a copy of 131. Okay. Looks like, okay, here's 133. That's Kurt Russell there. They figure if you're listening to this organ music that you have Crohn's disease. That's a hell of a name for a disease, man. They need to come up with a better name for a disease that sounds more upbeat. 134. The people breeders. Where's my fuck? I hunger. Play. Okay. 134. Oh. I guess I have 2 copies of 134. 2 copies are better than no copies. And this is a key issue. I think it's a key issue, isn't it? I think it matters for some reason. Guest starring Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch, and possibly the briefest, most unnecessary guest appearance you've ever seen. Yes, I believe it's the first high evolutionary. And that's therefore people that don't buy any Thor comics, except for the key issues to put on their wall, will want that particular issue. But, you know, smart people buy all the issues, and then there will be key issues mixed in. But why would you just want... I remember walking miles to buy this comic in the late 70s from Lone Star Comics. I just didn't have a car. I was a kid. I walked. And I remember coming home with this comic, and I was so thrilled to own something from the 1960s, because the 1960s was a magical time to me. I was born in 1965, and I have very few memories of the 60s, because, you know, you don't have many memories before age 5. But I have some memories, and this was a time that, you know, I just loved the stuff from the 60s. Okay, so that's 138, that's 137. Okay, so I'm not missing anything. 139. I have a pretty good run. It's not complete, but you know, over the years I was trying to get these Thor books. I mean, there are people that I know on YouTube that have the first appearance of Thor. I mean, that's incredible. What happened to Silver Age Dave? I just was thinking, because I know he has the first Thor. I haven't seen him on YouTube in months, possibly? Yeah, you know, it's like you start thinking about people that are on YouTube that you love, and then you think, well, it's like old friends, just like, I haven't talked to that person. Gee, it's probably been 6 years, and I better call them. You know, it's just sometimes you just lose touch with people, and sometimes YouTube people that you watch them all the time, and then all of a sudden they're just not there, and then you realize, hey, wait a second, what happened to, you know? I'm sure he's busy. Everybody's busy. These are interesting times that we're living in. Wasn't that an old Chinese curse or something? May you live in interesting times, or something like that. You don't want to live in, you know, history books don't talk about everything that ever happened. They talk about the interesting things that happen in history. And usually interesting things are horrible things. Everybody's happy and well-fed, and for 20, 30 years, that's not going to be in the history books. It's going to be the wars and the bad stuff and the dictators. And anyway, that we're living through times that will be written about in the history books. And, you know, depending on who wins the next few elections, depends on how it's going to be written in the history books. Okay, 141. This is a subscription crease. They used to mail the comics to you folded in an envelope. So that's called a subscription crease. I mean, it's possible some kid could have just folded it for grins, but I kind of doubt it. This is a big issue, a great cover, 142. There's a Hellboy that is a tribute to this cover, and it's really cool. It would look good on display next to this one. This is another one I remember buying on one of those trips to Lone Star Comics on foot back in the old days. It's hard to believe I'm so far away from that town now where I lived from 1976 until just April. Except for 1 year I lived in Longview, Texas. That's a long time to live in one place, but I'm sure glad to be away from all the crime I've been reading about that's happening over there. This is 145. I love that when, that his hair, the guy playing Thor is really good. I mean, right now the movies aren't as good, but he's a good actor. And they have his hair like real straight and stringy, and not like super blonde, but in the comic it's blonde and kind of has a flip to it, like he's from a British invasion band or something, like he's a member of the I don't know, and there are scenes where he's like in a malt shop having a shake or a malt for the first time, and there's all these girls just flipping out over him. Oh, he's more boss than the Beatles. I like that kind of stuff. When he would just be in a regular place like a malt shop. Here's 146. 147. That little face of Odin there where he's all pissed off and wrathful, they used that in that Marvel Superheroes cartoon a lot, that particular so they would trace these comics and then just barely animate them, but it was fun. It was like watching a slideshow of the Silver Age comic with wonderful acting, John Vernon, and wonderful music. This is 150, so it looks like I have 147, I'm missing 148, 149, and this is a famous cover. Yeah, people do homages to that all the time. And looks like I have 2 copies of that. Yeah, that Ragnarok was pretty good. How did it go so wrong with this new one? 50. Okay, so I'm missing 151. Here's 152. 152. This episode should end any moment, Miss Moneypenny. This episode should end any minute if it's unless I accidentally cleared my memory of something since the episode I did with Graphic Man, because it only went 1 hour and 1 minute, I think. 153. This is one of the first ones I bought as well. 154. I'm sorry, I just have to gaze lovingly at the cover, look at that. So amazing. Why would anyone buy a comic book from today when you could buy something like this? I wish I had a magical portal like a Stargate that I could walk through, jump through like the portal and City on the Edge of Forever, a Star Trek episode, or just wind up in Arizona and go into the Gotham City comics store. If you live in Arizona, you should be going to that store, right? He's got so much cool stuff. It'd be cool if we could convince him to come on the Four Color Fossils show. 157, look at that. Look at this coloring by Marie Severin. You just know that's Marie Severin's hand. The same hand that colored the EC comic books. Gorgeous. Nothing like this now. I don't think they know how to print anything like this now. I don't think it's even possible. $158. They should be going to 15 cents pretty soon. We're still in the 12-cent era. This is 159. 160. Is it still 12 cents? Yeah. Okay, it looks like I'm missing 161 and 162. Here's 163. We're getting towards the end of Kirby's run on the Thor comic, and some of the spark is gone at this point. No, maybe not. Maybe it's a little bit later, but it's about to happen. He had asked for a raise from Stan Lee and was denied the raise after he created all this stuff. And Stan Lee said, hey, just draw bigger panels, don't draw as much detail. And so he started kind of doing that. Here's 168. Okay, now they're 15 cents. But I'm missing 166 and 167, so I don't know at what point they went to 15 cents. Okay, what is this shitty music playing? Shut up! Fucking scum. Damn it. Skip ad. Well, how are you guys doing today? 168. 168. I'm trying to, those of you that have watched this show for a long time realize I'm just showing you the same comic books over and over again. I've shown you all these Thor books a couple of years ago. But it's kind of like Famous Monsters of Filmland. Every couple of years they just reprint all the same articles. They figure that kids don't read the magazine for year after year after year. They read it for a couple of years, then they start reading Playboy or start discovering girls. So every few years, hey, let's just reprint the same King Kong, Lon Chaney articles, or whatever. And I'm kind of doing that because I don't have a very extensive comic collection. I mean, not compared to my contemporaries on YouTube. The other Four Color Fossils, I mean, they got much better stuff than me. But I mainly, yeah, I don't know what. Oh, this is from the Charles Brown collection. You heard of Charlie Brown? That's his autograph, this is from the Charles Brown collection. Charlie Brown, he's a clown, that Charlie Brown. He's gonna get caught, just you wait and see. Why is everybody always picking on me for writing on my comic books? Look, it's September 6th, 69. It's not really a date stamp so much as I hear the creaking of the steps. It's either a ghost or Drew is returned to hang out. So this is 170. 170. Looks like we're gonna get up to at least an hour and 10 minutes tonight. Okay, so I'm missing 171, but here's 172. $174, The Challenge of the Crypto Man. Another copy of the same issue. 4. Looks like I'm missing 175. Here's 176. Boy, that's a cool cover. But if you are an eagle-eyed person, you'll notice it's no longer Jack Kirby. Kirby at this point had gone over to DC. That was 176, so I need 177 and 178. Here's 179. Okay, so that is Thor. Some of my Thor. We're almost done with all these Silver Age comics, and then I'm going to go up there and start organizing all the comics that I've got a lot more organization to do in all the comics from 1971 to today. And once I get all that organized, I will know what I have that I can trade or sell or auction off online, and like that. Here's 180. When Gods Go Mad. And it looks like I'm missing 181, and I moved to 182. Okay. 183, 184, 185 I do not have, but I have 186. Lieutenant Thor and Joe Biden. Then I'm missing 187 and 188, and I go to 189. And then I guess the next issue, once the comics go to 20 cents, and then there's a strip across the top that says Marvel Comics Group, that to me is the Bronze Age. So I have a lot of Thor comics in other boxes upstairs. So then I have this Thor King Size Special number 3. And another copy of it. Man, everybody seems to have that Thor annual. The first one with the first appearance of Hercules. I don't have that, and I really want that. So that's something I might buy from one of you. Maybe I could justify it as a Christmas present or something. Here's Tales of Asgard number 1. Boy, was I happy to get this when I was a kid. I mean, not when it came out, but I mean as a used comic at Lone Star Comics. Look at the detail on this. Okay, Special Marvel Edition number 1. And Three Musketeers is well, one of my first comics I ever got was I think a Super DC Giant in around 1971 reprinting Three Musketeers, but I didn't know they were reprints of comics from the 50s. And I thought it was something new. I didn't know any better, and I really loved it. So when I found these old 15-cent, these aren't in order. What? Oh, okay. This is very confusing. Okay. I guess this is a 10-cent Three Musketeers, right? So it's from the 50s. And then they must have started the numbering over again in the 15-cent late 60s era. And so this is issue 3 of the new revival of Three Musketeers, which is probably just reprints of these. This is what's gonna happen in the future if there are any idiots that collect comics in the future. When they try to figure out how many different times they restarted the Amazing Spider-Man, it's gonna be confusing. Okay, so this is another 10-cent number 11 free ice cream coupon worth 10 cents. I just was thinking, oh, maybe this is Joe Biden's copy because it's got an ice cream coupon. And I was thinking, all these Democrats seem to be obsessed with ice cream. Biden, Pelosi, I don't know. It's a new conspiracy theory. 11, here's 12. I would find these at Duncanville Books. They're all pretty trashed. I mean, these were comics read by kids, but they're really cool. And even if it was in bad shape, something I normally would turn up my nose at, but because of the condition, if it's Three Musketeers, you don't see these very often. Like, how often do you see a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer DC comic? I'm sure they sold in the millions, but you just don't see them. At least I don't. 15. These probably all came from the same person, because I bought all of these at Duncanville Books over time, and I bet it was just someone that came in and sold their collection. So they all look like they're about the same condition, and yeah, they're probably from the same. But this comic, it's kind of like Sugar and Spike. It's a lot of fun, and it's very well written. It's not like dummied down for little kids. It's very interesting to me. I mean, it's fine literature is what I'm trying to tell you. It's better than Shakespeare. It's like King James wrote this. Okay, so now I guess I can put this is the revival, number 2 from the 60s. Okay, so then I put this number 3 after that. Can they put more commercials in? Possibly. It's not enough commercials, man. Stellara.
If you were moderate to severe Crohn's.
Everything's for Crohn's disease. What the fuck is Crohn's disease? Here's issue 4. Here's 4. Another 4. Purple cover. Alright. Okay, it's DC Special Three Musketeers number 2. Now look at this. Beautiful floating heads. Beautiful artwork. Sheldon Meyer, of course, is the same guy that does Sugar and Spike, and he's just a great artist. He's one of the greats, and he's responsible for Superman existing. I've told you the story a million times. Look how I covered my eye. Look, I'm an Illuminati idiot. I'm Illuminati. Yeah, anyway, Jerry Siegel, Joe Shuster, teenagers came in with the sketches and the idea for Superman, and it was tossed in a trash can, and he pulled it out of the trash can and said, hey, we should give a second look to this. This is actually pretty good. And so they did, and so they called up the teenagers, and so Superman became what you know it is today because of Sheldon Meyer. This is my childhood copy. The one I was talking about that I got like in 1971, Super DC Giant. This is, see, it's been retaped. This is, 5-year-old me keeping, I've had it all these years. There's a smear here. That's when you buy comics at the, Army base, they stamp a star on it. It looks like it got smeared right when the ink was fresh. This looks like what that happened there. Anyway, this was a very important comic to me, and I'd love to get a better condition copy. If you and your store or your personal collection have a better quality copy of this and you don't care about this comic or you've got duplicates, please contact me through the comments below this. I always read all my comments. I don't respond to all of them because it's hard for me to type on the little phone, and my eyes are all, I look horrible today because I didn't get much sleep. I don't know. So, but you comment, I'll like it and I'll heart it. I put like and then I press the heart, and it shows not only did I like it, but I loved it. I love that you commented on my shitty video, and sometimes I'll reply. I should reply to every single comment. Someone took the time to comment on my. I should do that, but not too much of a butthole, I guess. Here's Tomahawk and his Rip Roaring Rangers 103. It's not bagged and boarded. So, you don't like that? Just the way it goes. I actually have. I found some bags and boards upstairs. I unpacked the box. Everything's. I'm still unpacking. I unpacked 5 boxes today. You know. This is a Western comic with weird shit that happens in it, like a giant Frankenstein appearing. It's a comic that it's early 1800s. It's not so much a Western. It's more like more in the, as I recall, in the Daniel Boone time. Not that long after the Revolutionary War. The early part of the 1800s. You know, it's my recollection. But anyway, so. It's a comic that no one really collects or traditionally didn't collect. And so when I was a kid, I'd go in the comic store at Lone Star Comics. I didn't have much money. I'd mow the lawn. I'd wash and wax my dad's 1969 Ford Fairlane station wagon and my mom's 1972 light blue Dodge Dart Swinger. With the black top, I'd wash and wax those cars and get some money. They paid me pretty nicely for that. And I'd go buy comics, and I'd love to get the 60s comics. And I could afford to get Tomahawk. I could afford to get Metamorpho. There were certain titles that weren't as popular with the collectors. And so that's what happened there. But it's cool. I mean, look, it's always got kind of weird monsters and stuff. There was another one called Bat Lash. It was a Western comic. I mean, it's that's hilarious, man. It's how can you resist? I want to read this comic tomorrow, man. I'm gonna come down here and read this fucking thing. This is incredible. Oh, they're promoting. What the fuck is this shit? Bring it back to life with a sprayer from Wagner. I can't take this anymore. I gotta get somebody that doesn't have commercials every 5 seconds. All right, here's an ad. God damn it. Here's an ad for the Batman model kit, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Superboy. Looks like the battery's getting low on the walkie-talkie, so let me plug you guys in. All right. Here's another copy of the same issue. I have 2 copies of it. I need to get more copies of Tomahawk. This is cool. Look at that girl there. The Hood vowed to slay him, Miss Liberty to save him. Have they ever reprinted all these Tomahawk comics? Um, this is a... I love this cover for that issue of The Flash. Doom Patrol is a wonderful comic. That's another one that I was buying up whenever I could find it back in the old days. Great stuff. And it looks like I have 2 copies of that issue. Yeah, Tomahawk is pretty consistently a weird Western comic with weird monsters and stuff. And then the comic becomes Son of Tomahawk. Here's really cool John Severin story that has an EC look to it. Oh, this movie, Zeppelin, it's a pretty much a forgotten movie. It has Michael York and Elkie Summer. But what's important, this was a big deal to me because it was the first time I was ever allowed to go to a movie theater and see a movie at nighttime. Before, whenever I'd seen a movie, it was during the day. And I remember I'd come out of the theater and I'd get a really bad headache because my eyes were used to the sunlight, and then it was, my eyes were used to the dark of the theater, and then the sunlight would give me a headache. And I remember it took me a while to get used to the taste of popcorn. It would make me nauseous at first. Then I started loving it. But yeah, we were at a theater in Germany, in one of the army bases, and I could see that. I was allowed to see it at night, and it was a big deal to me. And I just said, but yeah, and you know how much I hate that. But I've been infected by the disease, popular, idiotic, okay. Here's Tower of Shadows #1, Marvel Horror. Tower of Shadows 2, The Menace of the Hungry One. Tales to blow your mind. They should have put tales to blow your nose. Like blow your nose on the comic. These are cool things to enjoy. You think it's a typical day, you walk down the street, and then your shocked, unbelieving eyes behold the monster called Gratu. This is where I took my name. He was originally in Strange Tales. This is a reprint, and they redrew the cover. Marie Severin actually did this redraw of the cover, and you can tell her detail of all the people running. The original cover was very close to this. This was just redrawn. Not sure why they redrew it. I have 2 copies of it. And this one's got some eating by bugs, ironically, since he is a bug. But I really, since I've been using Gratu as my name here on YouTube, I really should own the Strange Tales. So I should pony up and buy a copy of that. Wait, here's more Tower of Shadows. Everything's out of order. Okay, I don't know. Everything's out of order. Here's Tower of Shadows 5. Tower of Shadows 7. Well, if I finish these in time, I'll show you some Hot Rod magazines. If not, I'll show them to you next time. Because the boxes are down, then I can take them back in the elevator. And this is 9, and it's, I think, the first, or one of the first H.P. Lovecraft adaptations in comics. It's Pickman's model. Yeah, I don't know why those Where Monsters Dwell were in here. In the wrong spot. Here's Two Gun Kid 73. Two Gun Kid 94. I never really collected this title much. I never saw it much. Most comic stores aren't going to stock a lot of these westerns. They just figure they don't sell. Okay, here's Tales of the Unexpected, a 10-cent. Damn. I think it's number 69. It's hard to read that. This is a cool cover, but the comic, and I remember there's damage to the interior of this comic. I don't really remember what it is, but the comic is cool looking, just looking at the cover. I was the devolution man. Devolution. Yeah, whenever I could find Unexpected, I would buy it. Look at this great cover with that tiger girl thing. This is 5,000 times better than the movie Avatar ever could be. Make way for the Monster Mayor USA. Now, if they could just put someone like that up as a candidate for president. Look at these guys, man. He should be the vice president when Trump runs again. But seriously, who do you think will be the vice president for Trump when he runs in 2024? Candace Owens, possibility. There's some really great people coming up. Some people say Ron DeSantis, but then all the people in Florida say, no, we need to keep him here. 106. Okay. Then there was a pretty substantial change at some point before issue 122, where it became more of an extreme horror title. And it was more of a superhero, kind of weird superhero comic. But by this point, it becomes, have you the nerve to face the unexpected, as opposed to Tales of the Unexpected. Well, this is just the Unexpected. Before it was the Tales of the Unexpected. And then this became part of the horror title group that DC was doing. They had Ghosts, they had House of Mystery, House of Secrets, The Witching Hour, and Unexpected. And they also had Weird War. They had a ton of horror comics, and they were all sort of in the EC vein. They didn't have the really cool twist endings that EC had, and they weren't as gory as EC, but the art was great, the writing was really good, and it was the covers were always great. It was a wonderful era for me to start buying comics in, and yeah, this is it's a great time period. Here's 125. 127. We're getting really close to the beginning of the Bronze Age. Comics went up to 25 cents, expanded thicker, and then DC realized that wasn't going to fly, and they brought him back down to 20 cents, and that's all my other Unexpected comics that I bought as a kid are in other boxes. I've already told you that 15 million times. All right. These look like people you'd see on TikTok, all right? Complaining about everything in their life. 133. Okay, so that's the end of that and the Silver Age. Here's Weird War #1, which is a horror comic set during wartime. Horror comic, but it's horror. It's a supernatural war comic. That's how I should say that. Here's issue 3, so I need issue 2. Okay, and after that, it's Bronze Age. Okay, here's Where Creatures Roam, number 8. It's a Marvel horror reprint title. Same time period, DC was doing original new horror stories, and Marvel just reprinted their old horror stories. Both companies were flooding the market with horror titles. And I was really into monsters at that age, so it was all just a paradise for me. I really liked the comic Ghost. I was always buying that, because as long as there was a skull on the cover, I would, get that. And there was always skeletons on the cover of Ghost. What? Where Creatures Roam. Okay, here's Where Monsters Dwell, number 1. Again, it was a reprint comic. Sometimes they'd have new covers, but it was a reprint comic. Okay, so that's where these Gratu issue 3 should go. They were in there misplaced. I may have taken them out to show them on the 4-color fossil show, and then they got put in the box incorrectly. Here's Where Monsters Dwell 7 with Rambu. So you've got these reprints. I just thought that was weird that they would sell Playboy Bunny decals in a comic, a children's comic. So it looks like a Marvel superhero comic, but it's just right before the Marvel went to change their, started the Fantastic Four, which kind of grew out of the monster comics. Yeah. I mean, look at this. Rambu with the monster-sized monsters. I mean, just look at that. That's just everything that's wonderful about being a kid, just here on this double-page spread. That's 7. Here's Where Monsters Dwell 8.
Was 1957. Was 1958. Was 1959.
Here's My Oldest World's Finest. It's a 10-cent number 82. And the store it came from wrote very good, and giant sticker there.
Was 1962. Was 1964.
Here's 154 World's Finest.
Was 1966. Was 1967.
Here's an early G.I. Joe ad.
1968. Was 1969.
Wow, this is so great.
Was 1970.
The Sons of Batman and Superman. Yeah, we're getting towards the end of the alphabet. World's Finest. Wait a second.
Hear me. They call him Luther the Berserk, but his blood brother is called...
So where are the Wonder Woman comics? Where Monsters Dwell, that's WH. Wonder Woman should be before World's Finest.
Black arts.
Something... We need to look into this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go upstairs and find where the Wonder Woman comics are. Let me unplug you guys from the power. Alright. Yeah. This is a problem that needs to be fixed. Wonder Woman before World's Finest. We should be looking at Wonder Woman comics.
Edgar Allan Poe opens forbidden doors of terror with the spirits of the dead.
There's Drew the dog having a nap.
Jane
Yeah, let's go upstairs, ladies and gentlemen.
and Peter Fonda. Spirits
I got more of my old West Village out from boxes today, and put it down here below the Christmas tree. That's put out by a company in Germany. They have a bull as their logo. They also made a King Arthur's Castle, which I had as a kid, and I'm going to buy that again at some point when I start making a little bit of money. It was King Arthur's Castle. It was really neat. I don't do many episodes at night, but yeah, the sun's gone down during tonight's episode. Okay, let's see. In the comic book room. Why am I whispering? Oh, I'm whispering because my wife might be asleep upstairs. Okay. This is the state of things right now. Things will get better. We're building back better. Okay. World's finest. What in the name? World's finest X-Men. Where are the Wonder Womans? I haven't shown Wonder Woman yet. I know I haven't. What's in this box? These are Charlton books. Yeah, Charlton. Where would the Wonder Woman be? That's Micronauts. I don't think I would have pulled the Wonder Womans out and put them in a separate box. What is going on? All right, well, I guess I'll find the Wonder Woman books. Look at how nice Graphic Man's wife left the bed in the guest bedroom. Drew, I'm going to get in trouble. You're not supposed to be on the guest bedroom bed. But anyway, I wanted to show you how cool it looks before Drew messes it up. But everything's folded perfectly. Amazing. Okay, so there's some missing Wonder Woman books, but why are there missing Wonder? Now, see, there's always things that I realize are missing, and it starts driving me crazy. Why would I have pulled the Wonder Woman books out? When did I last see the Wonder Woman books? It's just another thing that's going to be bugging me. What the fuck is this? Oh, Angel and the Ape. I need to put... That should be with the Silver Age. Man. Okay, well. We've got some missing Wonder Woman books. Oh, look at this. Look at this poster that Graphic Man made. Well, I'm going to be tearing everything apart looking for Wonder Woman books tomorrow. That's another poster Graphic Man made. It's so cool. Those are going to be hung up tomorrow. As soon as I finish this episode tonight, I'm going to go down and feed the cats and turn in early. My wife's already asleep. These are some of the books that I'm organizing here. And There's a bunch of books in the other room that I've got to organize. Oh, I meant to show some pictures for, we were talking, on Wednesday I was talking to Charlton66 about this artist XNO. And this is because I was saying I don't have much original art. But this is one piece of original art that I do own. This comic strip Zombo from XNO. And I've got some other pieces around here by him. So if you were watching Wednesday's 4-Color Fossils, I was talking about it, and I promised the next episode I'd show that. So I showed that. Okay. And then there's some more on the stairs I can show you real quick. This is a signed Jaclay from XNO here. This is a piece of art from Joe Riley of Ed Wood. He gave that to me on my birthday back in 1995, I believe. This thing I drew. I painted, rather. That's supposed to be a self-portrait. This is a portrait of Clara Bow that once hung in her house. And my friend Tom Renoni bought that at some sale and sold it to me. Here's some more XNO original paintings. Get it where there's no light reflection. So that's an original painting. And so is this. And this is a Joe Riley painting of Vampira from 1995, and Joe Riley was the guy that did the Hypnotic Eye, and I worked with him on that show, and he passed away a while back, 15 years maybe ago. This is a painting from Don Marquez from 1995. I got that from eBay. He's a guy that does a lot of paintings. He sells them on eBay. A lot of them are very close facsimiles of Frazetta paintings. This is another original painting from XNO. And I put up these plates. Dog Patch USA used to be an amusement park. And America's First Family, the Eisenhowers. You need to look up Laura Eisenhower. She's this new age weird UFO lady, but she's cool. But she's the granddaughter of the Eisenhowers, Laura Eisenhower. But she's a nut on YouTube or Rumble. So I'm starting to make everything look cool with plates hanging. There's a town in Pennsylvania called Intercourse. That's where Donald Trump should have given his speech the other night. Okay, enough of this nonsense. We were looking at World's Finest Comics. I'll find the damn Wonder Woman comics. They're around somewhere. It's not like the movers opened up a box and scooped out all the Wonder Woman comics. You know, they're probably with the Bronze. No, they wouldn't be. Where the fuck are they? It drives me nuts. All right. Okay. So, whatever. Okay, so that brings us to World's Finest 161.